Yeah. Yeah. Like SQL is an structured query language, which would be used to extract data sets or examine the data sets. We also can there in a data sets we can there would be the more number of data sets. Like in a project, there would be more number of data sets. We can go through the all the data sets like totally wholesale. By using the SQL, we can examine or extract the data or retrieve the data by using this SQL. Like, but from starting, like using the SQL, you have to import the BigQuery from the Google Cloud libraries. Like we can see, to use the BigQuery, we all import the Python package below. Like we've been importing Google from the Google Cloud library, we've been importing the BigQuery. Give me a second. Yeah, and we've been creating an object with a name of variable like client by using the this is the structure format of the like BigQuery dot client. We've been creating an object. Like in this project, like it is already created an inbuilt project which will be provided by the Kaggle, and the project name was Hacker News, and these are all the data sets were present in the Hacker News. He've been provided the four data sets like comments full and the full 201510 and the stories. These are all the data sets which been provided in this course. For an example, like uh, we've been constructing
So
and
where are these normally located? Initially, where are these data sets located previously?
like sir, I didn't get you, sir. In the
Okay, now these data sets are imported, right, over here.
no, sir. We can import, but it was already given in the Kaggle only, sir.
Okay, so it's already given
We've
from the
been
Kaggle.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is how I think, like, we should do for the fisheries information system as well. All the data sets should be first initially kept in Kaggle, and then
Mhm.
we have to follow this particular protocol, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you repeat that once again from the beginning, Durgesh?
Yes, sir. Like we've been importing the BigQuery from the Google Cloud libraries in the Python packages, which would be available in the Python packages. Now we've been creating a object in the form of a name called client by using the BigQuery.client. This would be the structure. Like you can find the total like whole parameters. This was the variables or the inbuilt functions which would be provided in the Google.cloud library. And like in the BigQuery, each data set is containing the corresponding projects. Like these are all the corresponding project. We can create the various number of corresponding projects. For example, and in this session, we've been awarded with an example project called Hacker News. In the Hacker News, it contains the four data sets like comments, full, and the full 201501 and the stories. These are all the data sets which have been provided in the Hacker News data set. And by using the get dataset method along the reference constructor uh, we've been created a like these are all the been given as the reference datasets. We've been created a variable it like an datasets dot reference, and client is an object which been created previously, and we've been extracting the datasets like calling the datasets, and these are the datasets we've been provided like the dataset name and the project. Like in the pro and the total project thing will be explained in the table of schema. And like we've been going through the structure and
Durgesh,
the
go slow, go slow, go slow. People are not able to catch whatever you say. Explain each and everything properly again. Come back,
mm,
come back.
yes, sir.
Go talk.
uh,
Yes.
uh, mm,
Client.bigquery.client. Till there,
yes, sir.
people are able to understand.
Like, uh,
After that, explain each and everything properly that people understand.
Okay, sir.
Using
Like,
Kaggle's public dataset BigQuery integration. So you explain like there are 4 datasets in the Hacker News project, right?
uh, yes, sir.
Okay. So the 4 are shown below. Can you show the datasets?
Yes, sir.
Show the datasets there. Yeah, the
And
datasets
these
are
are
there.
all the
Yes.
data sets which been provided as an example, like as an reference in the Kaggle. You can find them in this column, data column. Like these would be contents as an inputs.
Yes.
And we've been creating an object with a name of client. And this is would be the structure, like creating an object, BigQuery.client.
So what is an
Like you
object?
Yes, sir. Object is like an it would be objects format would be example in Python, sir. Like we've been creating an class like object like is small of things, sir. It also contains small attributes like an characters. Like for
Give an
example,
example. Yes.
for example, we can take an animal, sir, like cat. Cat
Hmm.
has some characters and like some behaviors, no, sir. Then those behaviors and with characters and comes under like into an attribute, sir. And cat would taken as an object,
Okay.
like those behaviors and everything would taken as an attributes. Like here
Okay.
we've been creating an object with a name of
Named
client.
client.
Yeah, in this like we've been importing like BigQuery to extract the data or example, I mean examining the data. In this form of an object we've been extracting like in the form of client
Okay.
in the created object. Hmm. Like which like we've been constructing the constructed reference data. These are all the reference data which would be already created previously, and these are all the data sets was provided as a reference. Like we've been constructing a data, I mean the data sets in the form of the data sets dot reference variable by calling an object. Here we've been calling an object. Yeah, we've been calling an object in the form like we've been extracting the data set. Data set is begin with an constructing reference to the data set with the data set method. Like it would be an constructing method, and it would be as used as a structure of like data set, and this would be the
Explain it again. Explain it again. You're really confusing everyone with your language. Construct a reference to the Hacker News dataset. So what is
like
the
we
reference?
like
Dataset
we've
underscore
been
ref is a reference to the
uh,
dataset called Hacker News.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Like we've been storing the data
Yes.
storing them in a variable.
Hello. We lost you there.
Yes, sir. We've been storing those references into that stored I mean defined variable called dataset underscore reference. To fetch the data from the data sets, we've been using the structure called like I mean the format called data, I mean get underscore like data set. We've been like as we discussed it before, we've been storing all those references data in the form of defined variable called data set underscore reference. Like ఈ వేరియబుల్లో మనం ఐ మీన్ స్టోర్ చేసుకున్నాం సార్ ఈ టోటల్ ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ని లైక్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఎన్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ కాల్డ్ బిగ్క్వెరీ పబ్లిక్ డాట్ డేటా.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been explained like this would be the table of schema, and e table like we've been used like it would be then format, like we've been created an object called client, and this would be the project in the form in the which comes under the object. And the next these are all the data sets
Dataset.
which we, yes sir, data sets which been created. For
So
example we've been
ob-
created, yes sir, hacker news
project,
object
and dataset.
project data sets, and these would be the data.
Okay. Okay.
Yes sir. Like we've been here, we've been like getting the data extracting the data and storing them into an variable called dataset. And now every data set is just a collection of tables. Like we can, I think you've been people already downloaded some data sets. Some data sets would contain some images, or some data sets would contain only number of characters or valuables. Like you can think dataset is a spreadsheet file containing multiple tables, all composed of rows and columns. Like
Just like an
we've
Excel
been,
sheet.
yes sir, like an Excel sheet. And for example, you can see them here in form of rows and columns. Every dataset is a form of rows and columns. And like we've been like to describe them in a list, and we've been using the method called list underscore tables. This method list is it we then use it to extract the data sets into the form of tables. Like we've been now listing all the tables in the in the in the data set called hacker underscore news dataset. Like we've been uh, I think we've been once again defining the variable called tables, and now we are trying to లిస్ట్ మనం ఒక లిస్ట్ ఫార్మాట్లో వాటిని ప్రింట్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాం కాబట్టి దిస్ లిస్ట్ ఇన్బిల్ట్ ఫంక్షన్ విడ్ బి యూజ్డ్ టు ప్రింట్ ద డేటా ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఎ లిస్ట్. And these are all the this would be the format. Like we've been list of tables to extract them into the form of list of tables, and this list variable this list defined variable would print them into the form of list like here. And we've been creating a for loop to uh, uh, to iterate each of the content. Like this would be the variable variable which will be storing the list of data sets, names of the data sets, content of the data set. And we've been trying to print
Your voice
them
is breaking. Your voice is
in
breaking,
the
dear.
form of list. Like if you don't like it would side by like. Is it okay, sir? Hello.
Can you disconnect it? Wait, wait, wait,
Uh,
wait. Give it some time. We lost you completely over there. Now, can you explain the topic once again?
yes, sir. Now it's okay, sir. Am I audible
Uh,
clearly?
yes, it's better.
Yeah. List ante ఏంటంటే some random data. Like when we want to extract the data, it would be stored in a form of like side by side format. And this form ante like jumbled format or some another formats. Like here the list, the list library, the variable, like in function, list function help us to print the content in the form of a list. And to print them in a format of one by one, we've been creating the for loop. So for example, we've been creating a variable called tables. ఆ టేబుల్స్లో ఇవన్నీ స్టోర్ అయ్యి ఉంటాయి. లైక్ ఈ డేటాబేస్ ఫైల్ నేమ్స్ అనుకోండి, అవన్నీ స్టోర్ అయ్యి ఉంటాయి. మనం ఫర్ లూప్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే అది ఒకదాని తర్వాత ఒకటి ఇటరేట్ అవ్వి ఈచ్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్ వన్ బై వన్గా ప్రింట్ అవుతుంది. లైక్ ఎన్నైతే ఉన్నాయో అవి వన్ బై వన్ ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ అన్ లిస్ట్. సో ఐ థింక్ సార్, డూ యూ గాట్ మీ సార్?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you've been trying to fetch the data uh, from the data set called full. Now we've been fetching the data only from the data set called full. Now we've been again creating a variable called table.reference, which been already created previously. Data sets been created a project, and the data set. Now we are trying to extract only the dataset called name full. Now after this, like another, and once again we've been storing them in the format of like a table, like a variable of table, and like we want to get the data, like we've been already discussed about the get dataset for get dataset function. By using those, like we've been trying to pull the table, like the whole table, like in like these are all total table. We've been also once again gone through those table and everything. Mm, like give me a second. యా ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మనం ఒక టేబుల్ని మనం పుల్ చేసుకున్నాం కదా, లైక్ ఫ్రమ్ ద డేటా సెట్ కాల్డ్ ఫుల్, అండ్ ద టోటల్ డేటా వుడ్ బి ఇన్ ఏ ఫార్మాట్ కాల్డ్, this would be the table called table of schema, and these are all the I mean object we've been created and in the form of an project called BigQuery public data, and this would be the data set hacker underscore news, and these are all the data which was contained in the data sets in the form of an rows and columns like an Excel sheet in table of schema. The structure of table is called its schema. We need to understand the table schema effectively, pull out the data we want. Like this would be the root map of an data set which we want to extract the data from a data set. For example, we've been fetching the data from a table called full in a dataset called hacker news in a project called BigQuery public data in an object of client, and these are all the data which we have been trying to pull. And when we trying to print I mean type table.schema, this extract all the data in the form of an rows and columns, like you can see. mm, like you can see, it would be extracted all the data, it title, url, text, dead, by, and everything. And next it prints the format, like title it format and string, url, and uh, nullable means it would contains also, it also contains expressing like it is an null table. And the struct I mean the even title and everything. Here, the name of an column and the field type or the data type in an column and the mode of an column. Like here we've been discussing like the mode of an URL column is totally empty. So it called a nullable. That means
Your voice is breaking again, Durgesh. Give a pause.
value or it is an into the default format, and the description of a data in the sir, it's okay now, sir? Is it okay now?
Yes, when you say yes, it's okay now. Can you repeat that once again?
uh, sir, can I explain from table schema or
Yeah, table schema.
uh, we've been already previous, like table schema is an
You should
format of
explain
an
what is nullable, what is string for the first time. Yeah, what is nullable? Show me the Excel. Show us the Excel sheet because you know
yeah.
what? While when you do this by tomorrow, all the data sets of the real 19 applications will be done on Kaggle by
Yes, sir.
everyone. This
Yes, sir.
has to be implemented by them tomorrow. Yeah.
Mm. Yes, sir. Like, like I've been discussed, like table of schema is like a route map to extract the data which was stored in an project. Am I Anusha? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
Durgesh.
yeah. It's like an route map, and now we have been trying to print the table. Like we already mm, defined, we want to extract the data from an table called full. Now table.schema, when we print the table.schema, it extract the data which was present in an like the table called name called full. I mean here we can see that it contains a title, URL, a text, a dead by or score and any some data. And like here each of the line describes the the character or an format of an table, like here a title, it would be the format of an string. And and nullable means it may also contains as a null or as set as a default. Like here we can see each scheme field tells us about the specific column, which we also refer to as a field. In order though the information is the name of an column, the field type or the data type in an column, the mode of an column is nullable, which means column allows null values and it is the default, and the description of the data in that column, like the story title or something. And the first field has the scheme field by, like we've been selecting like some random this field, like by string nullable and the user of the item author. Like this tells us about the field or an column like by, and the data in a field is strings, and the null values are allowed. I mean we can also put some zeros, like those things. And it contains the usernames corresponding to each other items order, like this whole line describing in the format of like by, and the data like for example like the field column called by, and the data field string and the null values are allowed. Like so we can find that some null values won't be allowed in the data sets or remaining other public data sets. I mean our so we can set as an uh, our data sets cannot accept some null values. So by that these all would be the default, so it could be accepts and null values too. Like here from like there would be the concept in a list, so we can extract the data. Like for example ఇక్కడ like at set of and range we can extract the data in the function list functions. Like when we want to the when we want to extract the data in the in of list function, it accepts the range and extract the data only from those ranges. Like we've been kept an maximum range at the time at like 5. Like list counts from 0, like adelante it would take some 5 values, but it would mention them from 0, like here. And those data would be extracted in the form of an table here. Now list rows. By using the list of rows method, we'll also let us look into the small specific, like by using the list of rows function, we can extract the specific rows from a data set. Like here we've been extracting the data, like in the previous table we've been extracting like data in the set of an a range, like only rows, or we can extract the data from like an only columns, like that. By the from this class we've been gone through like examining the data sets, creating a route map which would be called as an data scheme, extracting the data, like getting the get dot underscore like the data set, creating an object, like creating an project, and we've been going through the like data scheme and the description of the data which would be print in this format. And we've been also at last we've been also gone through the how to extract the specific rows or the values which we want to extract
Very
separately.
good. Now it's your turn. Finish the exercise. Wait. There's an exercise, dear.
Yes, sir.
So your turn. Practice your comments you've seen and explore the structure of data set with crimes in the city of Chicago. Start. This notebook is an exercise in the SQL course. You can reference the tutorial at the link. So already mark reference on the which we just did. That's the reference.
Like the previous topics we've been discussing. Sir.
Yeah, the one
Like,
that we just discussed. Let's start with the exercise. The first test of your new data exploration skills uses data discovery crime in the city of Chicago. So from the data sets that they have given, what are we supposed to do? We have to describe what is the crime. So you open the data set of crime. Okay. It is always important for you guys to understand first what the data set is given. So check the data set, Durgesh. Data set should be 8 data fields each other.
Like unique key, case number, date,
Okay.
block.
Unique key and primary key. Case number ante it's what the police would have when it happened. Which block is the address? IUCR is a reference code with which police use. Primary type, like what kind of crime they did, how they did it, where they did it, did they arrest or not, and does it come under domestic violence or a criminal violence? Okay. 10 or 22 columns. Inka columns ఉన్నట్టున్నాయి కదా?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Like 22
So
columns were given.
22 columns చూపించాడు. That's okay. So now come back to the code and see what he's expecting. Before you get started, run the following.
Like I think we have to clear some errors and go into
Exactly. Before you get started, run the following cell. It sets up the automated feedback system to review your answers. It sets up the automated feedback system to review your answers. Set a feedback system. From learntools.core, import binder. Binder.binder is global. From learntools sql.excel, import star. Okay, so you've set up BigQuery integration. So the dataset has been set up.
yes, sir.
Is it?
Like
Okay.
Google Cloud importing BigQuery, creating an object, data set, like okay, API.
Now these datasets, whatever they are kept, right? I think they are present in the Google Cloud. Your voice is breaking here. Yes.
Like sorry, sir. I think my network was.
Why did you close?
No, sir. I have been thinking about those datasets. Yes, sir. Like you've been given an exercise, count tables in a dataset.
Durgesh, can you go back there? I have a question. Okay, so here you said from Google.cloud import BigQuery. So these Data sets are present in the Google Cloud, right?
No, sir. These are all the data sets was stored already, like here, sir, in the Kaggle data storage, sir. Like when also add our own data, sir, like an add data, like from Google Cloud, we have been importing like functions, sir.
We are importing functions
Uh,
or
in the
data,
Google,
data
like in
stores.
the no, sir, functions, sir. In the Google.cloud, like an library, we've been importing functions, sir. These are all the functions was found in the Google.cloud.
But there over there, it shows like SQL symbol. I think like the data sets are in the cloud. Can you confirm that once again? Can you see the symbol over there? Yes. Like for example, open Hacker News
Sir, open.
on the right hand side. Chicago crime, there's a crime, right?
Uh,
The same underneath hacker crime is there. Just unpack that.
ha- Hacker news, like the data sets have been
Hacker News
already.
is ha- see, look at the symbol. There are different symbols. For Hacker News, there's a different symbol. For Chicago crime, there's a different symbol. I think there is a difference between the source from where they're fetching these data sets, if I'm not
Like
wrong.
in the Kaggle cloud, they've been storing the data, sir. I think. Like
From
we
where are they
can
storing
see
the cache? Is it an
in
Excel sheet that
Kaggle.
they are storing?
Okay, sir. Let me give me a second. So for we will add some random data, sir. So,
Okay.
సార్
like upload.
ప్రీవియస్గా మనకి ఎలా అయితే దొరికాయో ఇప్పుడు కూడా అలానే చూపిస్తున్నాయి సార్. అవి మనం అక్కడ నుంచి ఇంపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం. కాగల్ కాగల్ డేటాబేస్ నుంచి ఇంపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం సార్ అవి.
Kaggle-లోకి ఎలా అప్లోడ్ చేశారు వాళ్ళు?
సార్ అంతకు ముందు నుంచి కాగల్లో
Is my
దొరికేవి
question.
డేటా సెట్సే కదా సార్.
Shit.
సార్ లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్
Okay.
మనం ఒక డేటా యాడ్
Like for
చేసుకుందాం సార్.
example, ఇప్పుడు మనం రాకేష్ హోల్డ్ ఆన్.
Yes, sir.
ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు మనం ఫిషరీస్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ సిస్టమ్ ఒకటి చేస్తున్నాం.
Yes,
Kaggle-లో
sir.
దొరకదు కదా మనకి. Kaggle-లో మన డేటా సెట్లు దొరకవు కదా. We have to keep those data sets somewhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Origin data sets ఎక్కడ ఉంది?
సార్ యువర్ వాయిస్ ఈస్ బ్రేకింగ్ సార్.
Can you hear me now?
ఎస్ సార్. లైక్ మన ఓన్ డేటా సెట్స్ మనం అప్లోడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు సార్. ఇక్కడ యాడ్ డేటా
Data sets
యాడ్
అంటే ఏంటి?
డేటాలో
Is it SQL data? Is it SQL data set or is it an Excel data set?
సిఎస్వి ఫైల్ సార్, లైక్ ఎక్సెల్ షీట్.
అన్ని CSV ఫైల్సేనా?
ఎస్ సార్.
ఎస్ సార్.
మరి SQL BigQuery దేనికి రాకేష్?
లైక్
Do you have
ఎగ్జామింగ్ ద
any idea what SQL does?
like extracting the data, sir. Extracting the data from the data sets, like examining, extracting.
Can someone answer these both?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Like ante yeah, by using SQL we can examine the data, sir, from the data sets, or we can extract the data. లైక్ మనకు కావాల్సిన స్పెసిఫిక్ డేటాని మనం ఆ డేటా సెట్స్ నుంచి మనం పుల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు సార్. లైక్ ప్రీవియస్ సెషన్లో చూస్తే మనం ఇక్కడ ఆడిచ్చిన ఫుల్ అన్న డేటా సెట్ నుంచి మనం స్పెసిఫిక్ రోస్ని మనం ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాం చూడండి సార్.
I understand this part, Dakesh. మీకు డేటా సెట్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? Is it an Excel sheet or is it an SQL database?
సార్
మీకు డిఫరెన్స్ తెలుసా? SQL అంటే ఏంటో తెలుసా?
ఎస్ సార్. రైట్ నౌ
Structured query language.
ఎస్ సార్.
Yes. Structured
Sir.
query language అంటే using code you can store data. You can create a table using code. You can create rows and columns using code. You can update, assign, amend data using code. Excel sheet లేదు. ఇక్కడ Excel sheet లేదు. All these data sets are written by code. So this particular code must be somewhere, right? I think that's there in Google Cloud was my question. ఇవి ఎక్సెల్ షీట్స్ కాదు దుర్గేష్. ఎక్కడైనా .csv ఫైల్ అని ఎక్కడైనా మీకు కనపడుతుందా?
లేదు సార్, ఒక్క నిమిషం సార్, పాత ఒకసారి చూస్తా. మీ సెకండ్. ఇంకోండి సార్, దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ ద 2 inputs in both CSV format.
అవి ఎక్కడ ఉన్నాయి చూడండి. These are not the ones we used.
ఒక్క నిమిషం సార్. లైక్ ఇక్కడ చూడండి సార్, CSV ఆర్ అప్లోడ్.
చూడు అక్కడ ఒక డేటా సెట్ అదర్స్ అని ఉంది, ఒక డేటా సెట్ CSV అని ఉంది. నాట్ ఆల్ నాట్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ నీడ్ నాట్ బి CSV ఫైల్స్. చూడు లార్జ్ స్కేల్ ఆఫ్ ఫిష్ డేటా సెట్ అని ఉంది కింద చూడు. అదర్ ఇస్ దట్ CSV? నో. Where is it stored? How is it stored? Click there, fish data set and then shoot left learn. Yes, open that. Open those
images sir.
Yes, even those are called data sets. It need not be an Excel sheet. Why are you going there? That's next chapter.
Like I think తన అక్కడి నుంచి ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ కానీ I think.
No, go back to the exercise. Stop confusing yourself. Hey, keep your battery.
సార్ లైక్ నేనేమనుకుంటున్నానంటే ఇక్కడ ఒక మన ఓన్ డేటా డేటా సెట్ని ఇక్కడ యాడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత అవన్నీ లైక్ ఇన్ అన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్లోకి డిఫైన్ చేసుకోవాలనుకుంటున్నాను.
You have to be completely confident with, and this is a small exercise. Download SQL Workbench and go through it tomorrow, Rakesh.
Okay sir.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so basically what we want you to do is want you to download these softwares. Everything we cannot run on Kaggle. Kaggle at the end of the day is first to you guys present to us, but at the end of the day that should be maintained. The complete click on that Visual Database Design. అక్కడ ఉంది చూడండి, రైట్ లో
yes sir.
Visual Database Design. the TR diagram, entity relationship diagrams, like how different data sets are linked with each other using one-to-one relationships, many-to-one relationships, all these things. Without having these things in your data sets, how can you finish your applications for fisheries information system? Are you people aware of it, or you're just waiting for someone, they'll come and they'll do it for you? This is a question for everyone. Two months it's been, and you guys do not know like the minimum basics of a data set. Till your data sets, your databases are properly done, none of your FNR reports will reach your university. Yeah. And Durgesh, this data sets is something that you have to take care for all the 19 people. Got it?
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Yes. And the code with regards to Python will be taken care by Rakesh, and the machine learning will be taken care by Anusha. If these are not done, I don't think we'll be able to finish this fisheries information system. These are all minimum basis for you to run AI projects. Take a break, guys. Anusha, start with machine learning up at 1 o'clock. By tomorrow, I need this exercise to be completed, Durgesh. I want you to come really confident, and you should know what you're speaking as well.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. For sure.
The same applies to you, and the same applies to all the trainers. And trainers, if you should be in a position to ask questions to people, and if they are not able to answer, obviously their marks will reduce. So it's not like you get sessions or from me always. Like you have the opportunity to pass it away for your team members as well. Select people, whoever is lacking.